Commitment 2010 election coverage. News 8 on the campaign with the candidates for U.S. Senate. That's Pat Toomey today in York talking to a Rotary Club about his plan to create jobs and turn the economy around. The latest News 8 Franklin and Marshall poll shows Toomey increasing his lead. 43% of those polled say they support Toomey, with 36% for Sestak.
Now more coverage of the Sestak-Toomey race. Where do they stand on immigration, energy, and same-sex marriage? All issues that, if elected, would come up in the Senate. Well, I sat down with both of them to find out for the record. Immigration reform, as shown in Arizona, is a hot-button issue that has generated protests on both sides of the debate. The two candidates for U.S. Senate from Pennsylvania don't seem far apart when we ask them whether there should be amnesty for illegal immigrants.
No, I don't think amnesty is the right approach. I think we need to take control of our border. And I think we should and can and ought to accommodate a very significant scale of legal immigration, but it's got to be through a controlled process where we can do background checks, where we know who's coming here.
So there should be one chance to come out from the shadows.
So that's our road to citizenship?
Find, criminal background check, fingerprinted, and back to the line. And that's going to take about 8 years, and then they can apply for a green card.
On the Afghanistan war, both men agree in part with the administration's policy on the war effort.
For the record, would you support additional funding for the Afghanistan war?
We have to give our men and women on the ground whatever it takes to get that job done.
I support what our troops need in order to do their job safely. So the answer is yes.
But what they don't agree on is whether there should be an exit strategy for Afghanistan.
I do think the president has made a big mistake, and that is by declaring that there's a date on which we're going to start to leave the country. He's sent a signal not only to our enemies, but to the very population that we're trying to win over.
But I've asked the president and written and asked for him to meet his commitment that this would not be an open-ended commitment. We would have metrics, he told us, to measure success, or if the cost becomes too much, then the benefits.
Be kept strong to deal with all.
Another for the record question: same-sex marriage.
Mr. Toomey, do you support same-sex marriage?
I think a marriage has, for a very long time, it's been defined as the union of one man and one woman, and that's the definition that I support.
Would you support an amendment banning same-sex marriage?
I think that my preference is for individual states to make this decision.
I believe that we should not discriminate, and those unions should be for either of any. Look, I went to war with a certain percentage of my aircraft carrier battle group. We knew, because of outside public surveys, we're gay. There's no way I felt I could come home and say they don't have equal rights.
The candidates also have major differences on the cap-and-trade energy bill, designed to control pollution by providing economic incentives.
The bill that I worked on creates 78,000 jobs right here in Pennsylvania, 1.9 million jobs across America in alternative energy and even in coal. Also, what it does is it decreases household energy costs by 2020 by up to $1,200. And it also reduces by about 12% our reliance on foreign oil.
First of all, however complicated or convoluted the various forms take, at the end of the day, the purpose is very simple: drive up the cost of energy. Cap and trade would be a huge tax on everybody who uses energy. That's everyone in Pennsylvania, and we use lots of it. So it would cost us, according to various studies, anywhere from 40 to 70,000 jobs. We can't afford to be losing those jobs. This is a bad bill, and I would oppose it.
And would you support repealing Roe v. Wade?
Well, I think Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided. My own view is that I'm pro-life. I would accept exceptions in the case of rape and incest in the life of the mother, but I would hope that people would choose life.
I believe strongly that we have to reduce abortions, but I support the law of the Supreme Court that has this to be a decision in the privacy of their home or with their doctor of a woman to make that choice.
This is the second part of our For the Record series. You can see the first part right now on WGAL.com. Also there, you can check our Voters Guide next Monday on News 8 at 5, 5:30, and 6. we will bring you special voter guide reports with all kinds of information, including where to cast your vote. If you have anything election-related that you'd like us to look into, just log on to WGAL.com and ask your question.